Why is it that wealthy people seem to be getting richer today and people who are working jobs, W-2 employees, seem to be getting poorer today? Is there a game being played with money that we working class people just don't understand or don't know about? What's going on today is wealthy people, they take their money and they trade it in for assets, things that are worth more than money. Whether it's, buying rental property, a laundromat, even a vending machine business, or um, silver, gold, Bitcoin. All these things appreciate more than the American dollar. And wealthy people understand this. A lot of people look at money as, when you go to the grocery store and prices have gone up, that the price have just gone up. But wealthy people look at it as the value of the dollar has just depreciated by more. If I was looking to buy a Snickers bar today and it cost me $1, and then next year I have to add another 50 cents for that same Snickers bar, that means that the dollar has lost value. So wealthy people trade that in for something that's worth more. And the thing about these assets is that they all keep up with inflation. You know, while the dollar is losing value, property is going up in value. Silver is going up in value. Gold is going up in value. Bitcoin is going up in value. So the question is, why would you hold on to the dollar? And the thing is, most people just don't understand this. They don't understand. We stop with cash. As soon as you sell your time to whatever employee that you work for, most of us think, hey, I've made it. I got my money. This is all I need. But if you want to build wealth, like real wealth, if you want to leave your kids something, that generational wealth, this is how you do it. You have to trade in that cash for assets, for something that's going to appreciate more than the cash. And we've all played that game Monopoly. I don't think there's a person that hasn't played Monopoly. And even in Monopoly, they showed you that you trade in your money for an asset, which was property. And once you put one house on there, it was the rent went up. Two houses, the rent went up more. And then when you got a hotel, everybody was trying to avoid it because it brought in so much money. Look at how much money it was bringing you just from owning that one property. And all the benefits from that. After I bought my first property, rental property, I was paying taxes. I mean, there was loopholes as far as taxes. Just with one property, this was a single family home. Just imagine if you own multiple properties, how much money you're going to save. And when you own these properties, when you own your own business, you pay taxes. As an employee, taxes are literally taken from you. You get your paycheck and they're already gone. But when you own your own business, or like I do with real estate, I pay taxes. I don't pay taxes until the end of the year after I've written off everything I could possibly written off with that property. Then I pay my taxes at the end of the year. Whatever they say I owe them after that is what I owe them. And I tell you, I pay less than working employees, than W-2 employees. So this is something that everybody can learn how to do. This is something that everybody needs to learn how to do, to be honest with you, because the working people, W-2 employees, are losing on a regular basis. And I really don't see it getting any better. Either we change with the times or we're going to get lost in it. So how do you get diversified in all these assets? How do you start off? And there's no easy way to do it. I mean, whatever business you're going to get into, whatever asset class you plan on buying, you have to save up that down payment, especially with real estate. You have to save up the down payment. And the thing is, you have to have some goals. Once you buy that first property, you're like, oh my God, like it's such a relief. You're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. You have a second stream of income coming in. And then you start thinking about that next property and the next property and the next property. And then once you get so big in properties, now you can start looking at buying silver and gold and getting more diversified in the other assets because you just don't want to hold on to the cash. It's always nice to keep some money in the bank, and whether it's $10,000, $20,000, whatever you want to keep in the bank, it's always good to have some cash on hand. But the rest of the money, like these wealthy people, they're not sitting with millions and billions of dollars in their bank accounts. Uh, Most people are just wealthy people are worth a certain amount of money, and but they have to cash in their assets in order to get the money. All their money is sitting in assets, while working class people tend to just keep their money in their bank account, and they're not making much off of it. I mean, if you put $20,000 into your bank account today and you leave it in there for a year, at the end of the year you probably have $20,100 in there if you make that off of interest. Now, if you take that same $20,000 and you say you use that for a down payment on the property, in a year, let's say that property was $100,000. You use that $20,000 to put down on the property. You bought it at $100,000. Now this property is worth $110,000 the next year. You know, that's a $10,000 jump in 1 year. Now you tell me, which one would you want more, or which one would benefit you more? Leave it in your bank account or using that money to buy property, an asset. And that's the difference between the money and the asset, is that the asset goes up in value while the dollar, it pretty much stays the same or loses in value. And knowing all this today, that's one thing about schools I don't understand, is why they don't teach us this in school. I mean, are they just teaching us to be workers, and that's what they want us to do for the rest of our lives? And the longer you work, it almost seems like the poorer you get. I mean, there's people today in their 60s and 70s that probably have less money today than they did when they were in their 20s. And they're trying to figure out how to make it without working anymore. Or maybe they can't work. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, to sustain the lifestyle that they're living without working anymore. They're burnt out. They're tired of working, of selling their time and stuff. But that's one thing about school. Don't get me wrong, we still need schools. We all have to learn how to read, write, add, subtract, multiply, divide. So schools, obviously, they come in handy, but I feel like they just skip over the subject of money and buying assets and how to maintain the lifestyle that you really want to live, especially that generational wealth. I mean, what family, what dad or what mother doesn't want to leave their kids something? When I was younger, I just thought that rich people were just rich. They were born rich, or they had somebody pull them up the ladder, something like that. I just never thought that somebody got rich on their own and, just started from scratch from the bottom and just worked their way up. But after doing this now, and, if you've watched my channel, you realize I used to be an employee. I was an employee for 27 years, and I retired in my mid 40s, and I started my business in real estate. So it's never too late for anybody. But the thing is that this can be done. You can start from scratch and work your way up to wealth. And this is how you do it. This is wealth building information. Trading in that cash for assets, and then just keep buying assets, but always trading in that cash. Do not hold on to the cash. So guys, that's my video for today. I hope you guys learned something. And I hope this information helped you out. Please leave a thumbs up and a like, and I'll see you at the next one.